Saving lives, preventing disease, and reversing disease. You are listening to Dr. Richardson On Call, brought to you in part by the Atlanta Clinic of Preventive Medicine, William Richardson, MD.
This program is not being used to make diagnosis, administer treatment, prescribe medications, or order tests. The information contained is provided as an educational service. This program is not a replacement for the relationship you have with your healthcare provider. If you have concerns about your health, please contact your healthcare provider's office immediately.
Hello, ladies and gents. This is Andre 3000, one half of the group Outcast, and you're listening to Dr. Richardson On Call on WCLK 91.9 FM.
Hi, and thank you for listening to what was at the time Dr. Richardson's very popular and informative holistic, preventive, alternative health talk radio show, designed to save lives, prevent disease, and reverse disease. Furthermore, if you are interested and in need of a holistic alternative medical doctor, you can reach Dr. Richardson at 770-419-4471. That's 770-419-4471. And be sure to visit our website at acpm.net. That's acpm.net.
Hello, good evening to everybody out there in Radioland. I'm Dr. William Richardson, and I'm inspired and honored to be your host on our Preventive Holistic Medicine program on WCLK's Community Forum. Each month throughout this year in 1998, we have been on WCLK every first and third Wednesday approximately, airing from 6 to 7 p.m., where we have taken in-depth and stimulating looks at the major health issues facing our community today. We have discussed the truth by revealing up-to-date and compelling facts, figures, and statistics about many topics from mainstream medicine to holistic medicine. Most importantly, we have offered recommendations on quality medical care, disease prevention and treatment, nutrition, diet, vitamins and minerals, cleansing and detoxification, immune system enhancement, herbs, lifestyle, internal and external exercise, as well as natural alternatives and complementary therapies. On this show, we request and we encourage and actually demand your participation. Why? Because this health forum is your show, and we require and appreciate and really need your input. Ask your important questions and give your valuable commentaries on the major health and medical challenges facing our community today. Again, I'm your host, Dr. William Richardson, a board-certified medical doctor with over 16 years of experience in general, internal, family, preventive, and nutritional medicine. My role on this show is to facilitate our listeners in the how and why of making intelligent health choices in medical care, nutrition, diet, natural alternatives, vitamins, herbs, exercise, etc. Also, I, as always, am joined today in the studio by my brother, John Richardson, who's the writer, researcher, and producer for this show, and I owe him many thanks. Thank you, Brother John.
And thank you, Brother Dr. William Richardson. And welcome out there in Radioland, as I, John Richardson, am also honored, inspired, and highly motivated to assist Dr. Richardson in expounding the benefits of holistic preventive medicine, healthy lifestyles, diet, nutrition, stress management, as well as complementary and alternative therapeutics. And we ask you to join us our next show, January 6th, that's on a Wednesday, at 6 p.m., where we will step into the subject very apropos to this time of year. Yes, that's going to be colds and flu. We're going to go over that. How to gain freedom from colds and flu. We're going to go over that. How do you winterize your immune system against contracting colds and flu?
Like your car,
Yep,
but the
exactly,
body.
Exactly. Is it a foregone conclusion that you will get a cold or the flu every winter, every fall, every change of season, every time the weather changes drastically? What causes colds and flu? Is it like the medical establishment would have you believe, we don't know the cause or there's no cure? What about the vast variety of suppressed-the-symptom drug therapies available at drugstores, grocery stores, and everywhere else? Do they really help? What are the side effects? What are these drugs really doing? Why is it that taking antibiotics will do absolutely nothing about the recovery of colds. Why do doctors prescribe them if they don't work? Dr. Richardson, I haven't had a cold in about 3.5 years because of the secrets we will share on this show about freedom from colds and flu.
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about? That downtime's not worth it, you know? We will discuss how to get rid of a cold in 1 day. I can do it in about 1 day. I've done it. And if you really know what you're doing. Okay. We will reveal the herbs, vitamins, diet, and lifestyle to eliminate or minimize colds and flus forever. Why do we allow ourselves to get a cold in the first place? Perhaps it's an excuse to stop and rest. Think about it. Take a health day. Take a health day. Don't wait to get sick. Don't run yourself down to take a rest. So you guys join us next time on Wednesday, January 6th at 6 p.m. where we will be discussing freedom from colds and flu. And also I want to make a note. As you may know, this is our last show this year. And we hope you've enjoyed our 1998 schedule of shows ranging from weight loss to heart and artery disease, how to prevent it, and how to reverse it,
Right.
cancer, raising healthy children, healthy pregnancy, so many subjects. We've done 26 shows.
Wow.
That's a lot. So we want to thank our listeners.
Number one.
Yep. And we want to thank our callers that call in regularly and then the people who don't call in regularly. But
That's
they call
right.
in.
And try to, too.
That's
It is-
true. The ones who try to don't get through, right. We want to say thanks to our expert guests that we've had. We had some
That's
nice
right.
guest doctors and experts in the
right.
field. And
And
stuff
hope
like
to
that.
have many more.
And we will have many more, yes. Thanks to Karen Stewart at the office for so expertly and diligently typing and preparing the notes and the things that we have to go
Oh,
over.
yes.
Yeah,
That's
she's
right.
very efficient, Karen Stewart. Thanks to the WCLK engineers.
That's right.
All right. Oh, there's engineers in the house. All right. The managers, the directors, the DJs, all of them, really. You know,
and all the great advice they've given.
That's right.
Like
They've
Deb
helped
Moore
us
and
get
folks
to
like that.
a proficient point so that we can bring this message to the folks. Thank you to our sponsors. Our sponsors, including, Nature's Own Herb Shop down there in Hayfield, Dina.
Right.
Our Dina, and then Dina with Merging Worlds has sponsored this show. We want to thank them. Most of all, we want to thank WCLK for allowing us to bring you Community Health Forum week after week, month after month, year after year, as we have been on the air since 1996. Please, folks, if you value this show and the other great programming, including the jazz on WCLK, be sure to support this station with your love and with your prayers, and most of all, with your financial support.
During the pledge time, speak up.
Yeah, and turn those pledges in. All right, we are also pleased to announce that we will be on the air in 1999 with many new exciting subjects, and I'm just going to give you a list. We're not going to do the same ones over. We're going to do brand new ones. We may do some of the same ones.
The important ones.
The
yeah.
important ones like cancer and the heart and artery and stuff like that. But we will talk about ending sleep problems forever.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. What about vegetarianism demystified totally? Let's go over that, you know?
True.
The ins and outs of health insurance, HMOs, PPOs, IPOs, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Medicaid, Medicare, all these things. How do you handle all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. What about enzyme in live food? That type of thing. The importance that we follow. Proper cooking and kitchen time management. What about mating from the head down? Let's just do a straight up on that. What do you think, Dr.?
I think that's excellent. One of my best subjects.
That's right. We'll cover things like chronic fatigue, headaches, how to not have headaches. You used to have headaches. I used to have headaches. We have no headaches now. There's a
Right.
reason for that, right?
True.
Right. How about backaches? How about senility, Alzheimer's, and dementia? Those type
Yeah,
of
that's
things.
good.
That would be. So we've got a big, long list, and we will be sending you our list once we firm it up, get our guests straight, and this type of thing to let you know what the entire 1990 schedule will be. So we encourage you to listen in 1999, and we encourage you to listen right now because Dr. Richardson is going to go over a very important subject. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. We look forward to 1999. But now I'd like to turn to our very important topic for this evening, and that is diabetes, technically known as diabetes mellitus, sometimes known in layman's terms as sugar diabetes, although this name does not totally speak to the complexity of this serious illness. Basically, diabetes is another American epidemic, which is a chronic condition, which means it most often recurs or doesn't go away, which is characterized by an overabundance of blood sugar due to insufficient insulin production in the presence or inability of the body to use insulin. What we want to realize is that left untreated, diabetes will cause serious health problems secondarily, resulting in arteriosclerosis or hardening of the arteries, poor circulation, heart attacks, stroke, kidney failure, called diabetic neuropathy or disease of the kidney from diabetes, resulting in the need of for dialysis, blindness secondary to diabetic retinopathy or disease of the retina of the eye, peripheral vascular disease, diabetic neuropathy, foot ulcers, gangrene, high blood pressure, and even death.
That's a lot. And cancer, different cancers too, huh?
My friends, I'll tell you, it's imperative that we understand that our blood sugar level must be kept under control by any safe means necessary, so that we can avoid or minimize these serious health challenges coming from uncontrolled diabetes. What is truly amazing is that one half of the people with diabetes type 2 are unaware they have it.
Wow, say that again.
In other words, one half, 50% of people with diabetes, especially type 2, are unaware they have it. We'll go over the different types. That's a lot. This ignorance of having the condition of diabetes is very dangerous, and again will eventually result in a multitude of complications and illnesses aforementioned, which we mentioned again. Heart attacks, strokes, kidney failure resulting in dialysis, blindness, peripheral nerve damage, foot ulcer, gangrene, high blood pressure, cancer, osteoporosis, impotency, and even death. So, what are the statistics on diabetes? Who has diabetes? More people have diabetes than ever before. Diabetes is on the rise, with 16 million American diabetics today as compared to 11 million in 1993. Additionally, 65% of people with diabetes also have high blood pressure. Every year, between 12,000 and 24,000 people with diabetes go blind because of diabetes. Every year, almost 20,000 develop kidney disease resulting or requiring dialysis or kidney transplant. Diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death in America. African Americans are 60% more likely to contract diabetes than white Americans. Hispanic Americans are 100% more likely to contact or contract diabetes than white Americans. That's a twofold increase. And that includes the Native Americans as well.
Really?
Not just the Hispanic, but the Native ones, because it's the same racial background.
I see.
Basically, there are two forms of diabetes. You got type 1 or insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus. Okay, that's IDDM. Occurs most often in children and adolescents. It is associated with complete destruction of the beta cells of the pancreas, which manufacture the hormone insulin. These individuals will require lifelong insulin for the control of their blood sugar levels. The type 1 diabetic must learn how to manage his or her sugar levels on a day-to-day basis, modifying insulin types and dosage schedules as necessary, according to the results of the blood sugar testing that they must do constantly. Only about 10% of all diabetics are type 1, and I might add that type 1 diabetes is associated with cow's milk intake, and it is thought that viruses that are in the milk may destroy the very cells in the pancreas that manufacture insulin. So it's been associated with cow's milk intake, type 1 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, the most common type, is called non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, or adult onset diabetes, because it usually happens in adulthood after the age of 30. Usually this occurs actually by 40 years of age or up. Up to 90% of all diabetics are type 2 or non-insulin dependent diabetes. Insulin levels may be low, normal, or even elevated. Of great importance in diabetes type 2 is the lack of sensitivity to insulin by the cells of the body. And obesity is a major contributing factor to the loss of insulin sensitivity, because the fat cells have insulin receptors that gobble up the insulin and make it not available for use for the rest of the body. Approximately 90% of individuals with type 2 diabetes are obese, 90%, and that's directly related to it.
That's
'cause
amazing.
The fat cells have the receptors. Yeah. In type 2 diabetes, diet is a primary, we'll get into that.
Yes, we will.
Diabetes is of primary importance and must be tried diligently to be controlled before a drug is used. In other words, you want to try to use diet because over 75% of type 2 diabetes can be controlled by diet and other lifestyle factors alone. Well, diet alone. Okay, just 75% can be controlled by diet, and an even larger percentage can be controlled not only with diet, but exercise, dietary supplements, herbs, and stress management. And exercise is going to be very important in my book. So the question that remains is, why aren't more victims of diabetes aware of the improvements in health that they can gain for themselves by changing their diet and other lifestyle factors?
That's always the question.
Yeah, really. Research and education
And here's the
take
answer.
money.
Here's the
okay?
answer. Okay. Say that again.
Research and education take money. Recommending simple foods, weight loss, and especially fat loss, herbs, supplements, and stress management makes no profits for the medical establishment. Not the drug companies, not even the doctor who recommends it.
That's right.
The healthcare professional finds little incentive for spreading this information among the diabetic population or even among physicians who treat these folks.
Yep.
The fact is that more than 55 years have passed since medical research pioneers have established clearly identifiable effective approaches to the treatment of diabetes. And we're talking non-pharmacological treatments.
Yes.
How many diabetics have suffered needlessly because their physicians have failed to give them this information?
Yep.
How many physicians have stood by helplessly watching their diabetic patients become blind and disabled and finally die early because they knew of no effective treatments to prevent the course of these expected events?
Yep.
How needless the suffering, the waste, and the despair.
Yes.
The time for better treatment is now.
Now.
By the way, at this point, you may be wondering if you or a loved one has diabetes. Therefore, we should understand the major symptoms of diabetes to be as follows: excessive thirst, excessive urination. Of course, that goes in hand because the sugar pulls the water out of the body because it connects to it, and therefore you're going to be thirsty. Increased appetite and fatigue, and also loss of weight, sudden loss of weight. Other symptoms, though less characteristic of the disease, are muscle cramps from electrolyte problems, impaired vision, and blurred vision is fairly common, and itching of the skin and poor healing of wounds. And also you can get a blood sugar test, and a fasting blood sugar greater than 125 is considered abnormal and possibly diabetic. Okay? Final comments. The diabetic individual must be monitored carefully, particularly if he or she is on insulin or has relatively uncontrolled diabetes. Careful attention to symptoms, home glucose monitoring, and other blood tests are essential in monitoring the condition of the diabetic individual. As he or she employs some of the suggestions that we will be outlining, drug doses will have to often be lowered. A good working relationship with the prescribing doctor is critical. In other words, be honest and upfront and work together. Form a team approach. Your goals are to live long and function fully by avoiding complications of diabetes. That's number one goal. To take little or no medication, or as little as possible, for adult onset diabetes. To improve control over blood sugar levels in general. To avoid low blood sugar or hypoglycemia. Hypo means low, glyco means sugar, emia means blood, low sugar in the blood, to avoid that. To lower levels of cholesterol and triglyceride, to lose excess body weight, to feel well every day.
All right, Dr. Richardson, so we start there, and what we see from the adult onset type 2 diabetes is basically an illness that derives itself from the wrong living over a period of years and some lifestyle things that we talk about on this show all the time. And it's not that we're not compassionate if folks, are struggling with the obesity or don't have the discipline to exercise or hadn't developed that yet, or, don't know the supplements, all these things. But the fact is, there's high percentages of this illness that can be eradicated or very much controlled through the simple lifestyle factor.
And it was easier maybe back in a pristine time
That's
when
right.
we didn't have cars.
That's
and
right.
the ancient people of
That's
the
right.
world, the women walked 13 miles every other day. I have
Right.
patients who tell me, well, doctor, I started walking 20 minutes
Right.
3 times a week,
Right.
and that is good.
Yeah.
But that don't match what was done in the past.
No.
And our exercise physiologist, Pat, when I worked out with her, she had me warm up for 30 minutes on the treadmill before we even exercised.
was-
Okay? So,
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. And folks, now what we're going to do is go into Dr. Richardson's recommended program to prevent, reverse, and minimize type 2 adult onset diabetes, but it will also include some things that would apply to the type 1 that can, minimize some of the symptoms and some of the medications that they have to use, although they'll be doing the insulin and that. So we're going to jump on into this program.
let's go on
Let's
now.
go.
Okay, first of all, it's crucial that we recognize that like arterial sclerosis or hardening of the arteries or any other common degenerative diseases of westernized cultures, type 2 adult onset diabetes is largely a disorder of, quote, wrong living, quote, close. Excesses of sugar, fat, refined grain products, and calories lacking in specific nutrients and fiber, along with insufficient exercise, stimulate the development of this disease. Chronic stress overload can easily induce insulin resistance and can be the primary trigger for the development of type 2 diabetes. Contrary to popular belief, you are not destined to develop diabetes simply because it runs in your family, because probably their ancient ancestors had none. You may be able to control or prevent this disease with an adequate understanding of the dietary and lifestyle risk involved. If you already have type 2 diabetes, you may be able to lessen or eradicate it. Even if you have type 1 diabetes or insulin-dependent or childhood onset diabetes, you may be able to somewhat decrease your insulin requirement and, more importantly, delay cardiovascular complications. Okay, the importance of ideal body weight, first of all.
Just the obesity
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, over fatness. Body weight is a significant factor in blood sugar control, and even in non-diabetic individuals, significant weight gain results in carbohydrate intolerance, which means that your sugar will go up higher if you eat a high carbohydrate diet. Higher insulin levels also come about because you need more insulin because your fat cells are taking it all up, as well as insulin insensitivity in fat and muscle tissue. The progressive development of insulin insensitivity is believed to be the underlying factor in the development of type 2 diabetes. Weight loss corrects all of these abnormalities and significantly improves the metabolic disturbances of diabetes. In other words, 90% of people with type 2 diabetes are obese. The majority of Americans with diabetes could cure themselves simply by achieving their ideal body
All right,
weight.
folks, we're going to move fast here. So basically, point one is get that weight to the ideal weight.
That,
Point one.
percent body fat.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Go
what
to the
we
fat
measure.
part.
Yeah, you gotta
All right,
go to
the
the
next
fat.
thing we're going to go to is exercise. Exercise is crucial in the treatment of diabetes as it improves many aspects of blood sugar control. Physically fit diabetics experience many benefits.
That's right.
Enhanced insulin sensitivity with a
Consequent.
that's what that word. Consequent diminished need for insulin injections, improved glucose intolerance, and reduced total serum cholesterol and triglyceride. Therefore, the atherosclerosis wouldn't be as much of an issue. Then we're talking about so point one was obesity and over fat.
Yes.
And then exercise. Now, point three is the dietary recommendations, and I'm going to go over those quick. And Dr. Richardson, you're going to take the nutritional supplements. So here's 4 recommendations. 1, eat your meals at set times to maintain an even blood sugar level, whether this means 3 meals a day or more frequent smaller meals.
Mhm.
Point 2, eat a fiber-rich, low-fat, low-sugar, whole foods diet that emphasizes legumes, whole grains, root, and other fresh vegetables. Point 3, eat a diet that derives 60 to 75% of its calories from complex carbohydrates as opposed to simple sugars. 15 to 20% of these calories should come from protein and 10 to 15% from fat. The other thing that is a dietary recommendation is leave the cow's milk alone for many reasons, but here's another reason, and Dr. Richardson was alluding to that previously, that it's it's thought that the cow's milk in younger years can cause a person to experience diabetic problems later on. And then if you're lactose intolerant, like African Americans, you even have more problems. And African Americans are 70 to 80% lactose intolerant.
Yeah, and 60% more diabetic. And you might be surprised to know that Dr. John Anderson, MD, I visited him when I visited Aunt Nadine.
Oh, really?
And I hung out with him and took his course on diabetes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I devised a vegetarian diabetic diet for him.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, nutritional supplements is another key. First of all, I want to mention Vanadel. Vanadel has been used, and I've personally seen it help control diabetes in conjunction with other means, and you take about 50 milligrams 1 to 3 times a day. And then we have chromium as a key constituent of the glucose tolerance factor. Chromium is a critical nutrient in diabetes. Supplemented diet with chromium has been shown to help decrease fasting blood sugar levels, and the diabetic should supplement his diet or her diet with 200 to 1,000 micrograms of chromium daily. We're going to need to go to a break.
And we'll come back to these.
Yeah, we'll
and
come
then take
back.
calls.
And this is Dr. William Richardson and John Richardson talk about diabetes on WCLK's Community Health Forum, 91.9 FM. We'll be back.
Hi, and thank you for listening to what was at the time Dr. Richardson's very popular and informative holistic, preventive, alternative health talk radio show, designed to save lives, prevent disease, and reverse disease. Furthermore, if you are interested and in need of a holistic alternative medical doctor, you can reach Dr. Richardson at 770-419-4471. That's 770-419-4471. And be sure to visit our website at acpm.net. That's acpm.net.
Hello, we're back from the break. This is Dr. William Richardson with John Richardson on WCLK.
That's right. And tonight we're going over, you guessed it, diabetes, sugar diabetes, diabetes mellitus. That's what we're going over tonight. And we are exploring this subject, taking it apart, and offering some recommendations so that you can avoid it, prevent it, or reverse it. So we're going to invite you in a minute to get involved and give us a call, as we normally do. So that's that. So also, we are going to move back into the subject matter of diabetes, and then we'll open up the phone lines. Dr. Richardson, you're going to jump into...
Yeah, I want to continue this nutritional supplements briefly. The minerals are very important in general with diabetes, especially when they get into trouble. You can get into some really wicked trouble like comas and acidosis of the body, real acidosis.
Right.
But anyway, manganese is an important cofactor in the eaten as a vegetable.
And by the way, you can get it out at DeKalb Farmers Market. I get this bitter melon all the time. I had no idea it was good for it until we did this research.
It looks like an ugly cucumber.
And it's bitter.
And
you can
bitter
juice
melon.
it, this and that, but I mean, these people have been using it for a long time. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's been used as a remedy for diabetes, and there are some studies to back it up.
All right, I'm going to jump in here with one. Dr. Richardson is probably my favorite one. Period, the thing I use all the time, and it's stevia.
Yeah, and I'm using it more.
Yeah, exactly. And stevia is an herb that thrives and is harvested in South America and China. It has phenomenal uses and applications as a sweetener because of its effects on the human body are basically, in many regards, the opposite of sugar and other natural sweeteners, all right? Except for one thing. Stevia has a taste 200 to 300 times sweeter than sugar. However, get this, stevia has 0 calories, will not feed yeast, candida, bacteria, fungus, and parasites. It is anti these. It prevents tooth decay. I was listening to a tape today on that about stevia, and they were saying that. It increases glucose intolerance, decreases blood sugar level, is a digestive aid. I experience better digestion when I use stevia. And it increases energy. Therefore, you can use stevia to satisfy your sweet tooth, but not suffer the perils of consuming sugar, artificial sweeteners, and yes, even natural sweeteners. You know, the NutraSweet and those aspartame, all those guys were trying. They banned stevia from coming in the United States
for decades.
And now I'm doing a little bit more.
Yeah.
What this means is that stevia is recommended, well tolerated for those suffering with sugar addictions, hypoglycemia, diabetes. All right. Obesity, candida, yeast, and other parasitic infections, digestive disorders, chronic fatigue, mood swings, and all these type of things. Stevia has indeed been historically time-tested, as it has been consumed for hundreds of years in South America, as well as being used for many years as sweetener in Holland, Nigeria, and Indonesia. Moreover, since 1970s, Japan, the nation with the lowest death rate on the planet of industrialized nations, has used stevia to replace sugar. Currently, stevia constitutes 40 to 50% of all sweeteners ingested over in Japan, all right? Somebody might ask why the FDA was, again, messing with the ban on stevia.
Yeah, why were they?
Because sugar and artificial sweetener lobbyists have put up strong concerted protests and money to keep stevia out of here.
But I thought the FDA was unbiased.
Yeah, right. Right. Well, finally it broke through because a lot of people like Donna Gates of the Bodycology diet lobbied the other direction and brought the truth to light. What else you got, Dr.?
Well, I've got Jim Nima Silvestri, not Sylvester Stallone or Sly and the Family Stone, which I sure would like to hear from him again if he's listening. But anyway, Jim Nima, Gymnema, is a plant native to the tropical forests of India, and it's been used as a treatment for diabetes. Also, it helps control the urge to consume sugar, and it should be used regularly. I think Nature's Sunshine puts out appetite suppressant with Jim Nima.
That's right. Now, folks, we're going to go over a few more of these, but now it's your turn. It's your turn to get involved. We really want your important input on this important subject tonight of diabetes. Please won't you call us immediately. State your comment and question for Dr. Richardson. Get a pen or pencil out so you can get your comments and questions for Dr. Richardson clear and concise so we can move quick. You can call us at 404-880-9255. That's 404-880-9255. We need your participation tonight. Let's discuss sugar and diabetes and all these things related to that.
One more time. What's the number?
It's 880-9255. That's 880-9255. Of course, you can call us on your home phone, your business phone, your cellular phone, car phone, pay phone, or even someone else's phone. Just call us to be sure to let your voice be heard. We need your participation because it's your participation, experiences, and questions that makes our show successful. Call us at 404-880-9255. We want your participation tonight. What else you got?
All right, sounds good.
A few more little things.
Well, yeah, like onions and garlic have significant blood-lowering action, and actually it can be part of a healthy diet. The whole diet needs to be healthy anyway, and garlic and onions have a significant effect. And also, they'll help mitigate against the cardiovascular effects. And then you need a good antioxidant complex, like the beta-carotenoids and vitamin E and all that sort of stuff. And we'll get back to that later.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we have a whole big, long list of things you actually could do.
That's right.
Herbs and things. So we're not going to. All right. We want to hear from you, folks. 880-9255. We are going to run to our first call this evening, Atlanta. All right. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Thanks for doing the show. I wanted to ask a question about my pregnancy. I'm 6 months pregnant today, and the obstetrician who I'm seeing instructed me or advised me to have a test for diabetes. And during my first pregnancy, I remember that the obstetricians require the patients to drink a very syrupy, sugary drink, which I disagree with drinking. So I wanted to know if that test is necessary as far as either of you know.
You're talking about a glucose.
If there's an alternative, if it is necessary.
Okay, you're talking about a glucose tolerance test. They made you do that during your pregnancy, is what she's saying. Glucose tolerance test is when you take a fasting glucose and then you drink the syrupy drink, basically, and they measure how your body handles the sugar. Another possible alternative would be to measure a fasting blood sugar. That is, you fast, then go out and get something to eat, and then come back, and what they do is a 2-hour postprandial. Postprandial means after you eat blood sugar. So 2-hour postprandial blood sugar will see how your body handles a meal sugar-wise. And for most people, I would feel that would be suffice. I don't think a glucose tolerance test would be indicated unless there was some question of the diagnosis after those preliminary tests of a fasting blood sugar and 2-hour postprandial blood sugar, which you can tell your doctor.
All right. So there is alternative to what was suggested.
Yes.
All right. The number here is 404-880-9255. We do have one line open for you. We're discussing diabetes tonight. Give us a call, and we will get to you as soon as we can. We're going to run to another call. Caller, are you there?
Hello?
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson. Thanks for calling.
Oh, hi, how are you doing? You have a wonderful show. I really enjoy it every week.
Thank you.
My question is, my mom is diabetic, and she maintains her so well that they're considering trying to get her off of all medication. But my father, on the other hand, who won't go get tested, takes one of her glucotrol tablets every morning. And I'm wondering if it's doing him more harm than good.
Has he had an elevated blood sugar?
Yes, he also has a long history of high blood pressure and prostate cancer.
Yeah. Well, it's like this. It's, actually the pills, this hasn't been mentioned, but the pills, certainly it's necessary to control the blood sugar, but oral diabetic medication actually increases your chances of arteriosclerotic related disease, period. It actually increases death rate due to cardiovascular disease. And insulin doesn't do that, by the way, but these pills do for some reason. So I would urge your father to have his blood sugar tested a little more regularly to find out the pattern, and then try to get non-pharmacological means to control the blood sugar if possible. If he has to take the pill, then he should do things to make sure that he is avoiding arteriosclerotic producing activities such as eating heavy fat foods and not eating enough fiber and all that sort of stuff.
Right, which he does, and eats very late at night.
Yeah, so it sounds like he needs to come and see me, and we need to work him over a little.
All right. Thank you a lot.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, and that's a common problem with the black male is basically...
And males in general.
Yeah, but especially the black male, but males in general, but especially the black male, because our rates of illness are, so much higher than the rest of the population. And we're in denial, especially about prostate cancer, when you look at that.
Yeah.
And we won't get tested, we won't get checked, we won't get anything. We'd rather drop dead, and we need to not do that. We need to, because the tests and things and the procedures aren't that complicated, and they're relatively very simple and give quick results. And then, if you listen to this show, I guess you could be depressed if you think all you can do is get an operation or take medicines the rest of your life. You may have to do some of that, but then again, you may not if you work out some of these lifestyle factors and the obesity issues and all of that. So it does come down to self-love and really looking at yourself and what you're doing and how you're surviving.
Yeah,
so.
Primary prevention is easier than higher.
It is. So the number here, folks, is 880-9255. We do have one line open for you. We're going to go to another call. We're talking about diabetes tonight. Won't you come and join us? Caller, are you there?
Hello.
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson tonight. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Dr. Richardson, I have a question. I'm a type 1 diabetic.
Yes.
And I guess my biggest question is trying to figure out the proper things to eat.
Sure.
I'm kind of a vegetarian, but I've still been eating, like, organic yogurt and stuff like that. So I guess my question is trying not to eat too many carbohydrates so it doesn't raise my blood sugar level.
Right. That's a good point. I'm a vegetarian myself, and you do have to be careful with how you balance these things, especially if we don't get enough exercise and all that sort of stuff. Now, what I would really do, I think that, first of all, I would cut loose all refined carbohydrates, including fruit juices and stuff. And by the way, fruit juice will really throw diabetic off.
Oh, okay.
Big time, yeah, because it has no fiber and it's really refined sugar. Now, first of all, I would definitely get a strong exercise regimen to burn off as much sugar as possible during exercise. Secondly,
I already do that, but sometimes I have a problem if I exercise too hard.
And then your sugar drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to adjust your insulin level, plus you have to have snacks at all times to go the other way, too. Like a Cliff Bar would be heavily recommended for that particular time, and you have to get to really know yourself. In the middle of exercise, you may have to take a taste of that, you see. The other thing is that you could make up drinks made with pure soy vegetable protein powder, okay, pure, without the fructose in it. And remember, you want to stay away from meat anyway because that can increase the chances of kidney damage in any diabetic, per se, in general. Although a high meat a high-protein diet can help control it. I would use stevia in a protein drink.
Are you familiar with
morning.
that, caller?
No, I'm not. How do you spell that?
Stevia.
Oh, okay.
And that will help a lot. And I just think you probably need just a good regimen anyway, but just keep working with it, and perhaps we can have a consultation sometime. You can call our health hotline.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank
Certainly.
you. Like I said, folks, we have a whole long list of things a diabetic patient can do, and it might take another half an hour to go through the whole thing, but we just want to tell you there are very many things you can do if you research diabetes. The number here is 880-9255. We're going to run to another caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson. Thanks for calling.
Hi, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and
Yes.
I'm trying to get off of artificial sweeteners.
Yes.
What could I use to replace that?
Stevia. Use stevia.
Okay, what form does it come in?
It comes in drops. I've seen it in little containers like these artificial sugar, artificial sweeteners come in. You can go to health food stores and they have it lined up in all types of ways.
And now I've used stevia extensively, caller, and there's a particular brand, the Body Ecology Diet, that I find tastes excellent, because some of the other stevias have a licorice taste that I don't like the aftertaste. So you don't want to, you try something to say, I don't like it, you try one brand. I've tried about 10 brands, and I know this one brand, I mean, we could give you guidance if you call the health hotline and this and that, but get the right brand so you don't have excuse, well, it doesn't taste good, because some of them don't taste as good as the other ones. And you also have to learn how to use stevia and get used to it. There's an art and science to it.
Okay.
All right?
Now, what herb can I take to help regulate my blood sugar?
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot. We talked about the bitter melon.
Yeah.
We talked about the gymnema.
Yeah.
And also the mineral vanadil.
And onions and garlic.
Onions and garlic. So you would need to eat a super healthy diet with these things incorporated, and there's also supplements. Call our health hotline and we can give you more information.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, caller. And number here is 880-9255. We're going to run to another call again. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Dr. Richardson.
Yes.
I'd like to ask you two questions. First, what type of exercise intervention would you prescribe for senior citizens with high blood sugar? And secondly, what type of fresh juices or would you prescribe for senior citizens with that type of condition?
With diabetes?
Yes.
I would be very careful with fruit juices, so I would really avoid those, and I would avoid carrot juice in general. I would go more toward the green juices.
We have a particular formula for that, which
Yes.
we'd be glad to share.
And secondly, as far as exercise, first of all, I think people should be on an optimum exercise program throughout their lives anyway. But what I would want to do, see, seniors actually can build muscles. Some people have heard that seniors can't. They really can. So first of all, you got to start with where they're at. And you check out where they're at, how limber they are, do a stress test on them, make sure their heart is fit enough to exercise. And then you take them as far as they can go. Start with where they're at. And that exercise would include aerobic, strength training with small weights as well as stretching. And then that's the external exercise. And then the internal exercise would be like yoga, Tai Chi to really get that stretching going.
And there's a lot of senior classes for yoga and Tai Chi, and we highly recommend
Right.
it.
But for the treatment of diabetes, it would have to be fat reduction and muscle building and aerobics.
Yeah.
Yes, who would you recommend for the Tai Chi class or where to go?
Why don't you call our health hotline?
Okay,
We'll
then. Well,
send you
thanks
some
very much.
information.
Bye-bye.
And Emory University has a seniors class as well.
All right, folks, we have a couple lines open for you, 880-9255, 880-9255. Tonight we're having a lively discussion about diabetes mellitus, sugar diabetes. Anybody got a sweet tooth out there? I know I do, but I do stevia instead. All right, 880-9255. We're going to run to another call. Caller, are you there?
Hello.
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson. Thanks for calling.
What are the symptoms of being a diabetic? And why are fruit juices not good?
Yeah, fruit juices are not good because they're refined carbohydrates, and they have what you call a high glycemic index. So if you take an orange and eat it, your blood sugar will rise somewhat. But if you take the orange and juice it, your blood sugar will shoot up higher, and probably more oranges will go in the juice anyway. So if you're going to do juice, do it 1 part juice and 5 parts water. The symptoms of diabetes include excessive thirst, urination, excessive eating, fatigue, and weight loss, as well as blurred vision.
And then you can get a test to verify all that, and it could be something else.
That's right.
All right, caller.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number here is 880-9255. We're going to run to another call. Caller, are you there?
Hello?
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson tonight. Thanks for calling.
Hi.
Hello.
I'd like to find out about, well, when I was pregnant, I was a gestational diabetic.
Right.
But then after I had the baby, I was not diabetic anymore, and every time I go get my tests, they tell me that I'm not diabetic. But my mother and father both were diabetics, and they both took insulin.
Right.
And I'd like to know, with my history, what types of things do I need to do? And also, you were talking about green juices. I've pretty much stopped drinking fruit juices, and I cook collard greens and string beans, and I drink the juice off of them. But how long is that fresh? How long, like after you cook the greens, can you keep the juice in the refrigerator?
Well, no, we're not talking about that type of juice. We're talking about raw juice made from the greens. And you would just eat a couple shots of that anyway. You don't want to overdo it with that. But let me tell everybody out there about research that's been done. In the Solomon Islands, say 30 or 40 years ago, they did surveys on people in Southeast Asia, and they had no diabetes in all of those people they measured. But there were a few families that had individuals with a high normal blood sugar. In other words, it was normal but on the high end. 20, 30 years they came back with Western civilization. They quit doing their own fishing, quit growing their own food or whatever, and they put a factory there, probably put a Burger King or something, Big Mac, and then gave them money, And then after that, full diabetics came out of those families that had a high normal blood sugar. So clearly there is a genetic component, but then there's any weakness that you have, whether hypertension, diabetes, or whatnot, will be brought out by this Western environment. So what you want to do is live more pristine. Remember, the ancient people walked 13 miles every other day. They were low % body fat. They were in excellent shape. They ate wilder foods, whatever that means. So you need to study that. That's what I would do.
Yeah, if you had heard, did you hear the beginning of the show, caller?
Yes.
Yeah, so we were trying to go over many techniques, and actually we have a list of techniques, and we counsel patients on a daily basis about diabetes. So there's
being a gestational diabetic doesn't necessarily put me in a higher risk group, or does it?
I would say it does, yes, because it happened, and all you have to do is gain 20, 30, 50 pounds, and you'll be a diabetic possibly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm 5'7", and I weigh like 145. That's a safe weight?
It depends on what % body fat you are.
You need a
body fat composition.
Composition analysis. You need a machine to go ahead and measure that. It's an infrared machine.
It's not so much the weight. It is the weight, but it's also the % fat that's the weight.
I think it was 26% or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind
of... No, not 26. It was 23, I think.
Yeah, I mean...
Is that high? For women, isn't it kind of high for women anyway, like 18 or 20% for women?
It's on the high side. You want to try to get that down. It'll be a good goal to work toward.
What's a good percentage to be?
Probably about 12 to 17.
12 to 17%.
Look at you.
Well, that's how ancient people were,
Right.
When they had zero diabetes on the planet.
Okay.
Call a health hotline and get more information on this caller.
Well, tell me about the green juices. Explain that a little bit more.
We'll explain it when we get back from the break. I'll describe it exactly myself. I do it every day. So keep listening.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we have to go to a break now. This is Dr. Richardson and John Richardson on WCLK 91.9 Community Health Forum. We'll be right back.
Hi, and thank you for listening to what was at the time Dr. Richardson's very popular and informative holistic, preventive, alternative health talk radio show, designed to save lives, prevent disease, and reverse disease. Furthermore, if you are interested and in need of a holistic alternative medical doctor, you can reach Dr. Richardson at 770-419-4471. That's 770-419-4471. And be sure to visit our website at acpm.net. That's acpm.net.
Hey, we're back from the break. This is Dr. Richardson and John Richardson on WCLK's Community Health Forum.
We have some time left, and we're going to take a few more calls here. The number here is 880-9255, 880-9255. You can give us a call. We do have some lines open. Not much time left, about 7 minutes. So we'll run to another call. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to run to another call.
Health hotline is on.
Okay. Oh, okay. You checked out. Thank you. All right. All right. We're going to run to another call. The number here is 880-9255. We are talking about diabetes, and we're going to run to another call. Caller, are you there?
Hello.
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson. Thanks for calling.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a question. My husband has become a diabetic because of his medication.
Which medication?
He's getting nutrients. I think it's called Hyperal or
Hyperal.
PPN.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I wanted to know what effects will that have on his body. Sometimes his sugar is very high.
Really? Well, why is he getting Hyperal in the first place?
He has ulcerative colitis, and he lost a lot of nutrients and stuff.
Right. So he needs the Hyperal. He may have a propensity toward diabetes anyway. Okay. And the Hyperal in this case can basically save his life and give him the nutrients he needs and give his gastrointestinal tract a chance to rebuild.
Yeah, I think it is saving his life.
And they can control the diabetes. I think as long as they can keep the blood sugar down, they're just going to have to check it 4 times a day and react to it.
They do.
Yeah.
And one time it was up to 600.
Yeah, and that's not good. So what's the usual range right now?
For him?
Yeah, no, now. What you said it was up to 600 one time.
Well, yeah, it's been 300.
Yeah. So you want it, the closer you get it under 150, the better. So that's the goal.
It hasn't been under that in months.
Then fuss at his doctor's little and see if you can negotiate a better control.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And we'd be glad to see him. We do deal with that on a holistic basis as well.
Yeah, okay.
Whenever he gets out of situation.
All right, caller. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to run to another call. Folks, this is the 5-minute drill. We're going to take your call, keep it brief, and we're going to answer it brief so we can get through all these calls. Caller, are you there?
Hello.
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson. Please keep your comment brief tonight. Hello? We're about to go off the air. Go ahead.
You there?
You're on the air.
Oh, okay. I have a question about mitral valve prolapse.
Yeah.
Is there any natural herbs or anything I can take for the mitral valve prolapse?
Yes, you can. Call us at our health hotline, but briefly, you want to make sure your minerals are intact to keep the nervous reactions correct, to keep the nerve movements correct. And also you want to consider hawthorn berry, and also you want to keep the stress down and control stress with herbs, vitamins, and nutrients.
Okay, what about the chest pains?
Yeah, chest pain is going to come after you've failed in that above regimen.
Okay.
All right, caller, we're going to have to run. For more information, please call the health hotline.
Try meditation, too.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Hello?
You're on WCLK with Dr. Richardson. Thanks for calling. Please keep your comment brief. Hello? You're on the air.
Sorry, I couldn't tell if you're talking to me.
Yes, okay.
I had a quick question. I actually deal with diabetic agents, and my question is for physicians, how do we help physicians that are not of our race be more aggressive with African Americans?
I think the African Americans have to love themselves enough to demand it from their doctors. Mm-hmm. And, that is my comment.
It appears like they're a little bit more lackadaisy with us.
Well,
I'm not saying that literally, but I hear more complaints coming from some physicians about, I tell them, but they don't really care, and I don't know if they're stepping to the forefront or is it us not.
Okay, you can usually tell if a person really cares. I make it very known that I care about my patients no matter their conditions, so they have to be willing to pick that up and be sensitive to that. Some people still are in a slave mentality.
I see people who are on pills, and they just take them all. They feel bad, and they take them all. They don't follow up.
Yeah, all that's true. I mean, you can start from childhood and prevent diabetes, or you can treat it. If you have to treat it well. And you have to be like a warrior. You have to have a warrior mentality, both the physician and the patient. The patient's the king. The physician is the coach.
All right, caller.
I have a small question. Does iron deficiency affect diabetes anyway?
Not
any way?
not particularly. Just make you feel weak. But if you have an iron overload, you can have more free radical damage.
All right, caller, we're going to have to run.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go to our final call this evening. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You're our final call for this evening. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. My question is, if you're addicted to chocolate and ice cream, is there any particular herb that you can recommend, or is it the stevia that you were talking about earlier that will help wean you off of that? Because I get off of it, but then I go back on it. And I'm going to hang up so I can listen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the stevia would be very important, and you can make your own type of things up. Now, a lot of that can also be magnesium and manganese deficiency that we were talking about earlier. So I would get into the earth herbs, get into the bitters, the earth herbs, how can I say that, arrowroot, peppermint teas, party arco tea, eat bitter types of things sometime, and get into the deep yoga, meditation, and the hard exercise like the Navy SEAL tapes. Do 100 crunchies every morning. Do 3 sets of 30 push-ups every morning. Do that type of warrior building type of activity.
Yeah, we want to get something to replace that chocolate. The chocolate is supplying a need. You want to find out what that deeper need is and then answer that, and then you won't need the chocolate as much or at all. You might substitute Carib and some of these other things too. There's some other things. My brother's kidding with me here. I'm not going to say anything. We're going to close on out.
Yeah. A man's good for everything. I think I want to say thank you, listeners, for your calls, and God bless you, and Happy New Year. My brother has some announcements.
Right. Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Christmas, Happy whatever else you want to say. And we're going to kick it on out of here until 1999.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So if you need more information about Dr. Richardson's medical practice, holistic medical care, all the things we talk about week to week, month to month, year to year, what you can do is call the Health Hotline. Also, don't forget, we have that new newsletter, brand new, hot off the presses. You probably want a copy of that. So in 3 weeks, on January 6th, we'll be back here at 6 p.m. talking about colds and flus. So be sure to join us in 3 weeks when we talk about colds and flus. For Dr. Richardson, this is